Strobel, 2 Stony Hill Road. I've got two topics I'd like to cover tonight. The first in my mind is the most important. I'd like to ask you to join me in thanking our emergency services providers for their services during the electrical storms on Thursday and Friday night of last week. My family had a personal experience, and we couldn't be more thankful for the professionalism and the compassion that was shown by our volunteer providers. That thanks extends to Mendham Township's providers, to Mendham Borough, and to Randolph, all of whom responded to our house. And that combination of professionalism and compassion, I think, is something that we can only get from volunteers who are helping their neighbors. So please join me in thanking them. And I see Robin here tonight. She was one of the people who was there. Thank you, Robin. That was terrific. My second topic tonight is the effort to arrive at a more equitable funding formula for the regional high school, a matter of great importance to me and many in Mendham Township. In that regard, I read with interest Mayor Ciopatini's comments in the August 11th Observer Tribune, in which he stated we all need to be educated on the processes for changing the funding formula. Mayor Ciopatini also suggested that Vito Gagliardi might be a good choice to provide that education. Although I was surprised that Mayor Ciopatini was not already well educated on the procedures by his fellow CBS members, his suggestion that we need to understand the processes was an excellent one. The Township Committee and Township residents need to know the rules of the game. Only with those rules in mind can a game plan be developed to provide the greatest chance of success. Taking Mayor Ciopatini's wise suggestion to heart, I researched the procedures that need to be followed for at least some of the options. First, I will discuss those procedures. As part of that discussion, I will highlight some important implications of the procedures. Second, I will discuss the potential role for Mr. Gagliardi, or someone similar. In response to Mayor Ciopatini, what I did was I did some research, put together some thoughts on the regional high school funding formula changes, the options, the procedures, and the implications. The options that I considered are by no means the exclusive ones, but I thought they went to the core of what's been being discussed. First is the direct vote to change the funding formula. The second is to dissolve the existing regional high school district. Now there's a follow-on to that everybody knows, that we've got to figure out how we reform, and I'll be happy to come back and talk to you about the procedures for reforming. But I think the first step is the dissolution, so I focus on that tonight. The third step, or the third option, is potentially a legislative fix. So option one, the direct vote to change the funding formula. The procedure is that it has to be approved by the voters of each municipality. As has been widely recognized, this will not happen. Without more, the more being something that we can offer Washington Township. Washington Township will not vote itself a tax increase. The long shot, we work with Washington Township to determine if there is a value proposition that makes voting the increase acceptable. The second option is to dissolve the regional high school district. So when I looked at those procedures, it comes out that there's 5 basic steps. The first is that there has to be an application by constituent governing bodies and school districts to the county superintendent. The second step is that there has to be a report by the county superintendent. The third step is a petition to the Commissioner of Education for permission to vote. The fourth step is the State Board of Review, which will be constituted by the State Commissioner of Education, grants or opposes a vote by voters from all constituent municipalities. The fifth step is a vote. 3 of these steps require the participation and consent of others. The application, the State Board Review granting or opposing the vote, and the vote.
How many?
I'm gonna walk through each of those in turn, and if you let me walk through it, I'll get to that. So step 1 is the application procedure. It involves a majority of the constituent boards of education, in our case that's 3 of 4, and a majority of the constituent municipalities, that's 3 of 5, by separate resolutions applying to the county superintendent. The implication of this is that the constituent boards and governing bodies buy-in will be required just to start the process. Discussion and negotiation with them will be required to ensure their citizens and they, as the decision makers, support the resolutions. The second step is a report. And I'll walk through the steps in general for the county superintendent. County superintendent has to investigate the advisability of dissolution. Within 21 days of the application, she'll sit down with the representatives of the governing bodies and the constituent boards and discuss the procedures. She can call that meeting in advance of the application if she so chooses. Within 60 days after filing the resolutions, the county superintendent has to provide a report containing the current assets and operating expenses of the regional district. Such financial, educational, and other information as she may deem necessary to enable the constituent governing bodies and boards and the regional board to make intelligent judgment as to the advisability of dissolution and effect upon the educational and financial condition of the constituent districts. The other thing that she'll consider is the amount of debt to be assumed by each district. Finally, she'll look at the effect of dissolution on the administrative and operational efficiencies of the constituent districts. Continuing with her report, and this is just an add-on, but it's something that's interesting. She could actually, prior to issuing her report, ask the constituent municipalities and districts and regional district to submit a study to determine the educational and financial impact of dissolution on the regional district. That may be a way to get her out of the box of having to look at that one step that she has to do on the report. I'm not sure how that fits in, but she has that option. Some of the implications of her report. Sooner or later, a study will be done that provides information necessary to making a decision. That study will address what the other mayors outlined: the quality of education while leveraging the most equitable funding for our towns. The purpose of that study, intelligent judgment as to advisability, is very similar to what the mayor sought: citizens fully informed on this very complex issue. What are some of the implications continuing? It's going to require the active engagement with the county superintendent and other towns. That will be critical to making sure the study includes what Mendham Township believes is important to accomplishing the goal of a more equitable funding formula. The focus on operational administrative efficiencies makes the county superintendent's support for simply splitting the regional high school district into two regions with constituent districts remaining the same unlikely, as that will increase the number of districts. The two Mendhams and the Chesters very likely will need to work together to form a K-12 district. Once the report is issued, within 30 days after the county superintendent files her report, each constituent governing body and school district seeking dissolution may petition the State Commissioner of Education for permission to submit the question of dissolution to voters of each constituent municipality. I think this step means that you could apply on your own if you had already applied for the study with the county superintendent. I think you could do this on your own. But what's going to happen is within 15 days of the petition, the governing body and the school board of any constituent municipality, or board of education, and regional board shall file an answer to the petition.